Cast.
They fight for their families. They fight for each other. They fight for this great university.
What's up, Buckeye Nation? You're tuned in to the Buckeye Cast.
Buckeye Cast.
When I needed you the most, you gave us your very best.
These fellas were born and bred in the Buckeye State.
Handle your business, man. Everything you got. 4 to 6 A to B, 9 strong.
Buckeye Cast.
Visit us at thebuckeyecast.com and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at the Buckeye Cast.
Buckeye Cast.
Now here's your host, Joe Warwick.
A great Buckeye. 1, 2, 3, go die!
That is right, folks. We are back. Holy shit. Did you guys see that game Saturday night? Did you see that game, Shawn?
Ooh, what a game. What a game.
I've watched it like 5 times. Buckeyes pull it out. The Cardiac Kids with another 1-point victory over Penn State. Rolling out of Happy Valley after sticking a dagger in their hearts. Holy shit. Those fans have to hate to see us anymore.
Game for the ages. I mean, what's been going on with Ohio State and Penn State last few years is those are games that 10 years from now you go back and watch and you're going to be amazed just at how they played out and the intensity of it. And I mean, you couldn't have been, are you not entertained? I mean, come on, that's a football game right there. For as ugly as I thought we looked for a lot of it, that was a football game.
Yeah, and second time this year the Buckeyes had the most watched game of the season. But so anyways, Buckeyes escape Happy Valley 27-26. As you all know, always subscribe, follow us, download the show. We're starting to cut up the show in some smaller increments, maybe a little bit more easily digestible for you, easier on your ears and your attention spans. So keep a lookout for those. We'll put out the microscopes and the final score predictions as a separate episode going forward, and then of course always the long full episode to download. So let's jump right into this, Shawn. We got to talk about this Penn State game. I am still fucking geeked over it. Do you want to start with the fourth quarter and the comeback, or do you want to go chronologically from start to finish?
I mean, I say we started out from cradle to grave, beginning to end. First thing that I'll say about it is, again, an amazing game. I think I just said that, but I lost because we didn't cover. I had the Buckeyes covered on this one. Got a little bit ahead of myself, a little bit full of myself and the Buckeyes. I don't think they came in and laid down, but a little bit nervous, maybe.
Tight for sure.
Set of my extra points that crowd. I don't know. I can't remember a stadium being that raucous, that loud, that intimidating in any college football game that I've ever seen. And it came right through the TV. That's like, oh my gosh, this environment is insane. I don't know as if I've ever seen it. I don't think the Buckeyes will play in anything even close to that the rest of the year. No. I know they won't. I mean, nothing gets that intense. I got to think that's the toughest place in college football to play when they're doing that wide out and they're intense about it.
And how about everybody with their cell phone flashes on?
Oh yeah.
What's that doing for anybody? You're not at a concert. Anyway,
wasting that battery.
Right. Everybody walks out with no battery on their phone.
Flashlights drain them batteries now.
Fuck yes. Try doing that for 3 hours, man. All around, spectacular game. I texted with you in that second half and with Jeff, and I thought we were done. Midway through that fourth quarter, after they scored last, I was like, oh, we're done.
I was right there with you. I'm like, oh no, if they score a touchdown here, we are toast.
Yeah.
And boom, there they go. I'm like, yeah. So then I changed my meter and I was like, okay, what was there? 8 minutes left, something like that. I'm like, we need to score with 4 to 5 minutes on the clock to even have a shot at this thing.
Yeah.
And bam. Ben, your boy Ben, pulled our fat out of the fryer. And
finally shows up. But anyway, we can go start to finish here. First quarter, pretty tight. Both teams, I would say. Defense kept us in it throughout the first half. As any Buckeye game goes, we always are good for a missed field goal. Fortunately, Penn State matched us.
We actually made that field goal, and then we missed that field goal.
Yes, correct. But that's a lock in the bank. If you can get money or get odds on the Buckeyes missing a field goal in any game, put money on that. That's a guarantee. So anyway, fortunately, Penn State missed as well. I will say the missed field goal was due to that face mask, and that was in the second half anyways. But anyway, Haskins went 15 of 32 in the first three quarters, and then in the fourth he was like 7 of 10, I believe, and took the team 96 yards for the win. He was blitzed 80% of his dropbacks. That's an insane number. I don't think TCU blitzed us that much.
No, I don't think so. I thought the stat we were holding was that they were bringing extra people like 30% of the time. Basically, like that's the average throughout the season.
Yeah.
I thought I saw something like that.
Yeah, going into that game. Yeah. And just the wide receiver effort throughout the game. We had drops early. You had the Rashad Berry with the volleyball tip to the defense.
That sucked. I mean, that's just, come on, man. Put it on. You couldn't have thrown a better ball.
Right. And with a couple receiver drops, you had KJ drop one on a third down. Who else? Paris, of course, dropped a little screen pass. To be expected. That's another lead pipe lock. Paris will have at least one drop per game. But they stuck with it, and Haskins was a little rattled in the first half, don't you think?
I gotta say, it's a major concern point for me going forward with Dwayne Haskins. Just sometimes the happy feet and not feeling rushed, just not poised in that pocket. You see it, and he was breaking down. And again, that's an intense environment. I don't think we're going to see another environment like that again. I don't actually even see in us. I think maybe there's a couple teams left on the schedule that could apply that type of pressure. Michigan State will get creative with crazy blitzes and stunts and things like that. And Michigan has a good enough D-line that they're probably going to apply pressure to you. So I don't think any of those teams we necessarily have to worry about a ton. But if you're trying to go to the next level and make the college football playoff, D-lines like Clemson and Bama, it worries me how he reacted to that and just looked lost at a few times and throwing bad balls and rushing it. Just not what we've come to expect in the first 4 games. I was like, oh, shit. I mean, officially worried, like, what the fuck is he doing?
He was throwing balls flat-footed and stuff, and just his mechanics were off in that first half. You can say it was all due to the pressure or due to the crowd. I don't know. Probably a combination of things. Receivers not helping him out. I'm sure that sucked. But anyway, wide receiver effort, other than the first half drops, was awesome in the second half. These guys were making plays. The blocking downfield was insane. The Terry McLaurin triple block on the KJ touchdown to take the lead, that was epic. If you guys haven't seen it, go back and check out KJ Hill's touchdown to take the lead in the fourth quarter, the last touchdown. McLaurin blocks 3 dudes on that sideline. It was amazing. He pushed one guy, and the guy kind of went backwards and hit 2 guys, his own guys, back while he's falling backwards, and KJ just sprinted down the right sideline. It was a thing of beauty. Just opened a huge lane. Checking that out.
You can't say enough about that group. That's why 3 of them are captains, and that's the extra things that other teams in that I don't think do as well as the Buckeyes. I think it's one thing that sets us apart. I think it's a reason why you see Buckeyes players that don't have like crazy type numbers a la Michael Thomas. He did have one good year numbers, but it doesn't even matter. So many guys come out of Ohio State to play on Sundays because they do everything right, and and it's so deep, especially there right now, that we spread the ball around. And so, I argue with these guys that, hey, we got this receiver. Look, your guys' numbers aren't even close to his. I'm like, yeah, but I got 6 guys that I'm rotating in. You got that one dude that you're feeding the whole game, and if he has an off game, you're done.
And he's probably wasted by the fourth quarter.
And by the way, he doesn't block. He just catches footballs.
Yeah. And on the Ben Vick touchdown, there were 3 receivers downfield blocking for him and sprung that 43-yard touchdown. That was just all heart and effort from the catch to the touchdown run. That was all effort on Ben Vick's part, and some great blocking downfield from Dixon, Campbell, and I think McLaurin was down there as well.
I mean, you hate to be a secondary with Dixon, McLaurin, and whoever else you said down there blocking. They're coming looking for you. They're gonna put a hat on you.
Yeah.
Again, it's such a strong group. We need them to be too. Yeah.
And Dixon hawked down the interceptor on that the Rashad Berry tip ball. That guy was going in the end zone if Dixon didn't catch him from behind.
Dixon closed pretty quick. But as many big plays as we give up on defense, I'm about to throw him at safety, man.
He would catch somebody.
He would.
Yeah. And how about those screen passes, though? Those were heaven sent, huh?
Yeah. Well executed. To me, it kind of, and that's the other thing. You end up looking at Haskins' numbers at the end, and 273 touchdowns, but a lot of it was that type of stuff that sets up. Just because I think the coaches made enough adjustments that this guy wasn't throwing, great balls tonight. Even the Ben Vick touchdown. I mean, that was an amazing grab by him. Back across his body, going the opposite way.
Nobody else is catching that because nobody else is his size.
Right. But yeah, you're right. No one on the team probably could have caught that ball but Ben.
Yeah, I think Jalen Harris is the only other one close to his height at 6'4", 6'5". But those screen passes were a fucking thing of beauty. Holy shit, I have not seen those in decades at Ohio State. And the execution, and I'm sure we probably didn't show those on tape at all. So Penn State was not aware of that and used their D-line and their blitz package against them with their aggressiveness, and just great touch by Haskins to just drop a little bomb over top of them. That was key in the fourth quarter, in the drive where we had to go 96 for the win. That first play to Dobbins went for 35.
Yeah, that was huge.
We were deep in the student end zone, or in the loudest part of the stadium, whatever they call it, and went big for 35, got the hell out of there, and the rest is history, right?
Well, that was the start of the drive. I'm like, we need to score with 4 to 5 minutes left. And boom, it just set up the Dobbins long play, and then boom, 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 score.
Yeah, chunk plays, yeah.
But you saw me what I was texting the whole second half, and I just don't know why, because to me, Penn State was an undersized team. We didn't come out, and maybe because of the noise, we didn't run any tempo the first half. Which, again, I think we should be doing that, running tempo against these guys. But maybe the crowd and the noise doesn't allow for it. You'll make so many screw-ups.
Possibly, but you got to wonder. I haven't heard anybody ask Urban Meyer that. But yeah, I think some tempo, or at least switching up the tempo once in a while, would have helped. And
the tempo run game, the power run game, we can't forget. We got a bunch of road graders up front. We got some great running backs, and I felt like they were underutilized the first half.
That's what I was going to ask you. I asked you the same question last week. Does the running game concern you? This is 2 weeks in a row where we barely get over 100 yards.
Well, it concerns me a lot that we're not going to it more, especially when I thought that would be a spot that, that's where we establish our dominance, and that allows Haskins to get comfortable to be able to throw the ball later. But hey, we're a power run team. It's what we do. We have
Right.
the best running backs and the best O-line in the country, so it's what we do. And I feel like we get away from that sometimes, and to our demise, it is not helpful. We need to keep running the football early, often, even the pace. I mean, to stop run plays time after time when someone's going tempo, that'll wear down your defense so quick. And we just didn't do it, and we've done it all year. And I don't know why we gave up on it this game. Again, it might be impossible to do in that environment. I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Yeah, the O-line, especially in the first half, was very concerning in all facets, running, passing, everything. They're allowing way too much pressure, and I think at halftime, Herb probably questioned their manhood and gave them some motivation.
I think so, but going back to talking about before Herb came back, I almost feel there's like a nervous energy with Herb. He's over there so wound up. That is everyone just a little bit more nervous? Just relax, guys.
Yeah.
Everyone just seemed really tight, and Herb seemed tight too. Of course, he always does, but
Right. Yeah, he's uptight when he's holding his arms across his body, and he goes to the hair, runs his hands through his hair, and he looks up at the clock. You're like, oh fuck, what's going through his head? But yeah, defensive side. Oh wait, one more big topic on the offense. Can we please implement a QB sneak? Please.
I don't know. The way Haskins moved around on some of those plays, I don't even know if I want it.
What's better than starting 7 yards deep, man?
Well, I'm not saying not go under center, but don't let Haskins do it. Hand it off to Dobbins or Master Teague or somebody.
All right, but that's fine. But it's got to happen faster. You can't be 5 to 7 yards deep and just
faking
run
handoffs, and waiting for those D tackles to blow through there. I mean, you can't stop them.
And you notice most of our run plays are crossing the center. So picture the formation, center. Then on each side you got the guards with the A gaps. Then you got the tackles with the B gaps,
right.
And quarterback behind center. And then you got Dobbins to the quarterback's right. He's taking the handoff and he's going across 3 gaps to the left of the guard on the left. So he's crossing his B-A-A gap and crossing that much real estate. It's no wonder some of these times we get blown up in the backfield instead of running straight, in his B gap or A, either one.
Well, I'm sure a lot of that's based on the scouting and what they're doing and how they're whatever. I got to think.
Yeah, I'm sure it's timing and all that, but it just seems like the running back is running diagonally just to get to the line of scrimmage, instead of getting north and south immediately. Anyway, defensively, we got to talk about the defense, good and bad. It was another one of those nights, the roller coaster ride continues with Shiano's defense.
What the fuck?
Exactly, that's what I said. So I guess this was Chase Young's coming out party to the rest of the country. We've seen it. We're well aware. We've been telling everyone about it. But this is Chase Young, folks. He is Nick Bosa personified in a different body. I got to call BS on the face masks, and they tried to get him on that second one that was not even close.
The first one was overlooked a lot of times.
Yeah. He had 10 pressures in 43 snaps in that game.
10 pressures?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's just on pass plays. But still, We're giving up the explosive chunk plays, the 50-yard McSorley run, then the big 93-yard touchdown given up by Shawn Wade.
I'm getting about sick of this shit already. I can tell you. You know, every time we're in a game, we're getting gashed. What, TCU, longest play in their history, longest play against us. These guys, McSorley, longest run in his career, longest pass play against the Buckeyes. It just, what? How are we so good and we're giving up all these longest and biggest plays ever?
Well, I'll tell you this. Half the problem is these horrible angles in the secondary, mostly by Pryor, Jocelyn Went, and whoever is playing that safety position. Terrible angles. These guys, I don't know what, they act like they never played DB before. But on the 93-yard touchdown, Shawn Wade backed up at the line of scrimmage and let Hamler take the slant right over the middle and go untouched. No linebacker was in the middle of the field. They were all blitzing, and Wade should have had inside technique and made the receiver go through him to run that slant. Instead, the guy had a clean break and just was off to the races. The fastest guy in their fucking team.
And just ran away from us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Pryor took a bad angle back there.
Me that play. It was the exact thing that you really couldn't have happen. And boom, there he goes.
Yeah. So a hard lesson to learn for Shawn Wade. Not against moving him to safety going forward. He's been in the safeties room in practice more, so maybe that's a little bit more his speed, at least to get on the field. And Pryor and Went definitely aren't getting it done. I will call bullshit on that targeting call on Pryor. I don't know how you can tackle a guy in the secondary anymore who catches the ball. He glanced the guy with his shoulder pad. It wasn't even a direct blow.
I know, it was a glancing blow. He never left his feet. He wasn't even on the ground.
He ran by him. He ran by the dude, and his shoulder pad caught the guy in the helmet. I don't even know how the guy got hurt.
I know.
What hit you? I need a better explanation of what happened there.
Yeah, I did not feel targeting was warranted there.
Yeah. And Herb thought you could challenge those targeting calls, but apparently not.
No, because they're reviewing if it's targeting or not.
Yeah.
Because that's already reviewed.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can review a review.
Yeah. Take another look at it, please.
Yeah, are you sure? Are you really sure?
I double dog dare you to look at that tape again. But yeah, I really don't know. I think the NCAA needs to put out a tape of what a DB is supposed to do when a guy catches a ball right dead ass in front of him. What's the guy supposed to do? And you're on the move. You're running. You're not just standing there. I don't get it, man. And don't get me started on the NFL, because that's a whole other bunch of bullshit. Jesus.
I don't watch that garbage league.
Oh, if former Buckeyes weren't playing in it, I would not watch it either. Anyway, talking about the defense again in the Penn State game.
Yeah, I'm with you. But Chase Young, yeah, amazing game. Just what he needed to do. Was on the field a lot. I forget, I saw 11 Warriors or something had the snap counts. He pretty much didn't come off the field.
Yeah.
So
he was in on 43 pass plays, so I'm sure he was in on most run plays too.
Yeah, I think he was up in the 70s, where the next closest person was in the 40s.
Yeah. But if you notice, McSorley did most of his damage with his legs on pass plays, where he just squirted out of there, found an opening in the line, and took off. a lot of them weren't really designed runs.
No, but I thought we went into it, and it was you that texted me. It's like, if we're spying this guy on pass downs, that's not working. Let's just go back to your regular defense. I mean, that was embarrassing.
Yeah. They were opening some holes for him, just inadvertently. The guy's pretty savvy. So defense only allowed 3 of 17 on third downs, which is a great number, and then 1 of 4 on fourth downs. So that's really really good to get off the field when you can against a team like that. But boy, did they get gashed in some cases. Drew Chrisman, Ray Guy Award winner of the week, by the way. He had 9 punts for an average of 48 yards a punt and 3 inside the 20.
Saw that. Love that kid. Love that stats. I'm so pissed that we had to punt 9 friggin' times. I don't ever want him to win that award again.
Yeah.
Unless he has 2 punts and averages like 80 yards on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you need that in a close ball game. The field position, that's the other thing I wanted to mention. Field position in the first half really saved our ass too. We were pinning them on their side of the 50, and they were getting virtually no punt returns. So that was very helpful. Helped the defense, obviously.
I gotta, we're still on the defense here, but I know you're gonna bring it up. But we got to get in this linebacker play. And,
sure, yeah.
I mean, you saw it as well as I did on the McSorley run. Borland way out of position.
Yeah, unhitched the wagon, dude.
And then he's just getting run away from by McSorley. And I don't know how fast McSorley is, but I mean, Borland looked like he's limping down the sideline.
He's not healthy. There's no way he's 100%.
Yeah. I agree.
And
watch
Browning,
that play again, and you see him like limping, trying to chase and just losing, 2 yards every 3 steps.
Yeah, Browning played the entire third quarter. Borland wasn't out there, and then Borland came back in for most of the fourth, I believe. But yeah, Browning played most of the third. Yeah. The Spies, Malik Harrison, I got to say, played a hell of a game, though, while we're talking linebackers. He had that one play where he hawked down McSorley from behind. It was a third down, and I thought McSorley was easily going to get it. It was like 3rd and 5 or something. Yeah. And Harrison got him from the backside and just squashed him, man. That was a hell of a play. And Werner made a few plays here and there, nothing legendary, but...
Nothing egregious either that I can recall. Go back and watch, but I saw the snap count. It's like him and Harrison they were out there pretty much the whole game too, and basically the only people you switched in were Browning and Borland.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, the outside linebackers, I don't think they really left the field much. What do you think of the 4th down call by Penn State to finish the game?
Is that insane? I mean, that might be the worst call, other than not giving it to Carlos Hyde ever. I mean, what are you doing? McSorley has been absolutely gashing us. You've got to throw a pass there give him the option to run. Yeah. That's the only. The running backs had run for like 2 yards or less per carry. Yeah, McSorley gashed us, but they were getting nothing on the ground outside of him.
Yeah, that Miles Sanders, that finished the game with 43 yards total.
Well, we had the timeout, and then they had the timeout. I don't know.
I thought we had like 3 timeouts in a row at one point.
Franklin maybe overthought that thing. But McSorley, I'm checking out of that shit.
Yeah, it's 4th and 5, man. How do you not call a pass play? The Buckeyes were in a pass defense because everybody was manned up, and I think they had a single high safety, and then typically on a pass play is when you run those stunts and twists like they did. And Shawn, I think he got the guard grabbed him, and then Chase came underneath and swooped around under Shawn Cornell and
got down
right
that line and was on him.
Yep, he was right there and made a hell of a play. But there were other Buckeyes in the backfield too. I'm not sure that was going for 5, no matter what.
I mean, I hate the call, especially when it doesn't work. I will say, if that would have worked for Franklin, they'd be saying, "What a great call! No one expected it."
Sure. Yeah.
And if Chase Young doesn't make that play, which was, how many guys are going to make that play? Would he have got it?
Yeah. Yes. Ifs and buts.
Yep.
Candies and nuts.
And every day be Christmas.
Yep. What else about this game? A couple of negative points for the Buckeyes that I always bring up. This is like a recurring theme. You guys might as well just play the tape back from the last 5 weeks. Penalties. Penalties. 10 fucking penalties for 100 yards, and somehow a face mask on a field goal attempt. Tell me how that
We
works.
also had a couple penalties that, since they actually were really good plays for them, they declined them.
Oh yeah, you can't even count those.
Yeah, it'd probably been 13 for 130.
Perfect, a baker's dozen. And then the other thing was third down efficiency, just as poor as theirs was against our defense. Ours wasn't much better. It was like 4 of 17. I think we might have been 1 of 2 on fourth downs or something like that. But those are my weekly gripes: penalties and third down efficiency. Those are really frustrating. The penalties of aggression I get, like face mask that Chase Young had. He didn't mean to fucking do it, but it's a penalty. I get it. He's trying to bring the guy down by any means necessary. So it happens.
Your Prince is always good for 1 or 2.
Oh, you can chalk up 3 across that offensive line every game. Pridgeon, Prince, and who didn't have one? Maybe Munford and Jordan. And how did 3 guys get unsportsmanlike conducts on that interception return? 3 Buckeyes got 15-yarders. And they're all offsetting because there's a penalty. I think 3 of them were fighting the Penn State guy, the one that was talking shit online.
Yeah, the Sharif guy.
Yeah, I think.
Well, because didn't he knock Haskins on his ass on that?
Yeah,
too?
It was him, Haskins, Ben Victor, and one of the linemen, maybe Jordan or somebody. I don't remember, but yeah, it was like 3 dudes for Ohio State, and then just 1 Penn State player that got called for the unsportsmanlikes. Jesus, the guy was naming off numbers like he was at a bingo parlor.
I know. I'm glad they all offset. Like 3 personal fouls is the same as 1. You might as well clear the bench, man.
Oh shit, yeah. Be here all night. So yeah. Again,
last thing I'll say about that game is Dwayne Haskins came through when he had to. I think this was a huge grow-up moment. It's the first time that he's looked human this year, frankly. And going forward, I hope he learned some valuable shit being in this game. How big in the environment and just how tough it was, that it serves him well in future games. So there are going to be a couple more tough ones, I'm sure.
Yeah, won't be surprised to see every team come at us like Penn State did, and maybe not to the number of 80% of blitz ratio or blitz percentage, but probably up above 50, that's for sure. Anyway, did you see Franklin's comments after the game?
No, what did he say?
He went total, emotional psycho. Basically, yeah. He's like, just said, we've gone from an average program to a great program, and he, pulled his shoulder trying to pat himself on the back, And then he said, but we need to go from great to an elite. And he said, you guys thought I was a psychopath before. Well, you haven't seen anything yet. You know, blah, 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 blah. So these were broadcast nationally. Everybody loved it. But he also got into it with a Penn State fan.
I don't love it.
Well, you know, the talking heads do on ESPN. They love a passionate coach. Except for Jimbo Fisher when he grabbed a kid by his face mask. They didn't like that. And
the anti-Buckeye network. Anything that's against the Buckeyes, they'll be for. Yeah, like I said, Penn State, what they've done, what Franklin's done to get them to where they are, is pretty impressive. And they haven't taken that next step yet. They're still not Ohio State, you know, and we just proved that. You know, we played a very bad game that first half, I feel, at least on the offensive side of the ball. I thought Penn State played probably about as good as they could. McSorley had a career day. And, you know, as far as the Big Ten goes, that's what it's going to take for any team. They're going to have to play their asses off, and the Buckeyes are going to have an off day. You're going to have to get some bounces, you know, 90-70-yard touchdowns or, you know, pick sixes, shit like that to beat Ohio State. Everything else, if it's all even, good luck to you.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, we mentioned last week about the talent gap that we thought Ohio State had, and I think the whiteout and the atmosphere kind of bridged some of that gap that they had in talent. You know, I think that kind of made up for some of it. Not that it's equal, but it made the game more difficult than just having the quality of talent, at least across the board, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think in Columbus we could have, you know, we might handle those guys fairly easily.
Yeah.
2 touchdown win.
Yeah. So we all thought it was going to be a shootout, at least a double-digit victory and a high-scoring affair, but didn't happen that way.
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Let's head home and get ready for Indy. So 4 o'clock on Fox this Saturday. We got Gene Hackman leading the Hoosiers into the horseshoe. I miss Gene Hackman. He was a great actor. Underrated, in my opinion. Anyway, he's bringing the Hoosiers into the shoe. A little afternoon affair. Like I said, it's on Fox. On offense, I didn't know that this Peyton Ramsey, their quarterback, is from Ohio. He's a sophomore. I think he's a redshirt sophomore. Anyways, he's a dual threat, kind of. He can scramble when he has to, but he's leading the Big Ten in completion percentage at 71%. That's a solid rock number. You know,
that is pretty good.
He's got like 1,000 yards passing, 8 touchdowns. Oh, by the way, Dwayne Haskins is second in the country with 19 touchdowns. Just footnote.
And 2 picks, and 1 right off the receiver's hand last week.
Yeah, that should be on the receiver.
I can't remember. What was the first one? What happened there? Was that his bonehead mistake?
Last week he just had 1. He has 2 picks on the year.
No, he's only got Haskins only has 2 picks. I can't remember the first. Yeah, I know the last one. I know one of them. I forget the first one.
Good question. Next question. Would have been against Oregon State. First game. I don't recall exactly how or when, but stat sheets say Oregon State. So we'll put that one on him. So we'll call it 1. Haskins has 1 interception on the year. How's that? Rashad Berry has the other.
1 may be deserved.
Yeah. Yeah, Berry gets the other one. So anyway, Indy has 7 players with double-digit receptions. So Ramsey's spreading it around. They don't have the likes of Simeon and who's the other guy? Simi Cobbs, the guy that torched us last year, and the other guy was Timian. I think his last name was Timian. Those guys aren't out there making one-handed receptions up and down the field. Westbrook is the only name I remember from last year.
Yeah, isn't he dinged up or something?
Yeah, I think didn't he tear his ACL in the kickoff against us?
Oh, maybe that's it. So he's like a year removed from.
I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. Yeah, the running back is a freshman, Stevie Scott. He's got 464 yards on the year with 4 touchdowns.
That's solid.
Yeah, they're not putting up huge numbers. They're only moving the ball about 320 yards a game. So yeah, total offense, by the way, not on the ground. But Herb did say that Draymond and Damon Arnett will both play this week, so that's good news. Draymond left last week's game in a walking boot. We were really concerned about that.
He's fine though?
Yeah, he's going to play. So, good news. Probably a half of football, I would imagine, at most. And
I don't know what makes you think that.
Well, I'm assuming that we jump out to an early lead. Damon Arnett, apparently his head's fine. I'll leave that one alone. So we should be close to full health. Mikey Weber's still nursing a foot or an ankle sprain, I should say, from the Tulane game where he got rolled up from behind. He says he's hurt or not injured, so he should be good to go. I imagine he'll play a half. So yeah, not a lot, in my opinion, to worry about on this Indiana offense. They really haven't put up major numbers against anybody. They have lost to Michigan State 35-21. That's their only loss of the year. They put up 300 yards against Michigan State. Yeah, not a lot to be impressed by.
Well, they were right there with Michigan State. They're 4-1 on the season. Again, not to get ahead of myself, but with the point spread, what is it, 26.5? I like Indiana with those points. We're coming off that game that was last Saturday night in that environment. Yeah. This just sets up to me like a letdown game. We're just a little bit flat, and I don't think we jump out to a big lead. I think Indiana brings it to us.
That's what I was going to ask you, because this is in Columbus, though. It's not like we're going back to Indiana. So that's why, and it's homecoming. I thought maybe we might not sleepwalk through the first quarter or first half.
Well, I'll believe it when I believe it. I'm hoping we don't. It'd be nice to, get the younger kids out there for most of the second half. But I feel Indiana is not a bad football team. And again, the one game they lost, they were in that football game against Michigan State.
Well, yeah, they scored 14 in the fourth quarter to make it a little closer. But on defense, Indy brings a little better defense. They only are giving up 21 points a game. Similarly to their offense, they're giving up about 320 per game on offense. They're well coached. So yeah, I guess that means the guys are in the right positions at the right times. I don't know. I always hear well coached, and I don't know what the fuck that even means. Like they listen to their coach. That means you're
slow, but you play well. Okay. You don't wow anybody, but you're sound. Good fundamentals.
Okay. I thought it meant when your coach tells you get the fuck off the field, you get the fuck off the field.
That's well coached.
Okay. Perfect. So anyway, yeah, Indiana coming in here with wins over FIU, wins over Virginia, Ball State, the trip up against Michigan State, and then they beat Rutgers in their place 24-17 last week.
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Let's jump right into our microscopes and our fatal predictions. Who do you have on offense? Flip on your microscope. Look
On
inside
offense,
there. Tell me what you got.
On offense, I don't have a player. I've got a unit, and it's on the
Ooh.
offensive line.
Okay.
So last week I had my spotlight on Haskins. See how he do in that environment. Was not overly impressed for most of that game, but he totally redeemed himself late. I think a lot of that obviously had to do with the pressure he was getting. I think that O-line needs to do a little bit better job. I don't think the Hoosiers have the talent that Penn State has, but I'm really focused on them to pick up their stuff. I guess along with, the running backs have to step up and do their job too, to pick up the blitz and things like that. That could all be done better. So that's really what I'm watching on offense.
All right. On offense, I'm going to take, since you took a unit, I'm going to take a unit. I'm going to go running backs. I want to see like 200 yards rushing this week at least between Dobbins and Weber.
Oh, I'm with you.
I mean, let's get this thing back on track. We're going to need it, as we get in here as we leak into November and December. We got to get that running game, running in like a fine-oil machine. So that's my focus. I don't care how you split the fucking carries. I imagine Dobbins will get a couple more than Weber if Weber's nursing the injury. So let's get that show on the road.
Something like that.
Yeah, let's get that show on the road and get Weber some rest and even get Master Teague and Snead into the mix late.
I'm with you. Going back, what do we always like to see at the stat line at the end? If you can throw me up 250 and 250 rushing and passing,
yeah.
I mean, that's the perfect game right there. And yeah. I'm with you. We went down in rushing yards every game this season. Mm-hmm. And that trend needs to stop and start going back up.
Right.
And get back in that north. So, I'd love to see us at least be a 220 yards per game on the ground team.
Yeah. So I want you to go back under your microscope and tell me who you have for defense.
On defense, I got the guy that really I saw glaring weaknesses from this week, and that's Tough Borland. My mic's on him. Something doesn't look right with him, and so I'm going to be watching him closely. And if the coaches think that him even gimping around out there is helping this football team, to me that's worrisome that they think he's our best option, even limping around. So yeah, I'm watching Tough.
All right, I like that. I was leaning towards Okuda. By the way, I forgot to bring him up. He had some amazing tackles on punt coverage this week. He had 3 where a guy got 0 yards. And I was leaning towards him, but I think I'm going to go with whoever the safety is next to Fuller. Whether it's Wade, Went, or Pryor. I want to see that position play much, much better. We got to see progress. I mean, this is week 5 already. You've had the entire month of August, which is fall camp, and you've had 5 weeks of games. Okay, that's like two and a half months almost to get a fucking starting safety in there that can take an angle and make a tackle consistently, and we haven't seen that. And in pass coverage as well, getting toasted. That's not helping matters.
Can we stop giving up the bombs? Jeez.
Yeah.
The bomb. I mean, and I'm not talking about way down the field. Is the bomb plays that are
right.
Gosh.
Yeah, those chunk plays are backbreakers.
I can handle 20-yard chunks. Hey, you're going to give up a few of them, but
right.
80, 90, 60. That's bullshit.
Yeah. We're looking at. Let's get into our predictions. Here, the odds are Buckeyes by 25, kind of a weird number. And then the over-under 62.5. Looks like they're calling for another shootout.
Well, I got 2 season predictions in me, but to me, this is going to be a letdown game. I think we're going to start out slow. Indiana's going to be in this game early, and it'll be a second half game when we scored, 2 to 3 touchdowns late in the game and end up winning 45-20 push.
Oh, wow. Fancy pants. But take the over. I like that. I'm not sure what the weather forecast is calling for, but I don't think it matters. We should be able to move the ball at will through the air and on the ground. I'm going to go Buckeyes going big, getting back on the scoreboard, 49-17. I think they move the ball with ease, and I don't think we sleepwalk through this game. I think guys are focused. I know that you know that Herb brought up last year's Iowa game this week. Different IU, but you don't want the same result. So I think Herb's going to be pounding that into the guys all week, and they're going to have to get up and get focused. So big win for the Buckeyes. They get back on track, and the running game rolls. That's what I think.
I think this is a game here that coming off that PSU game, you've got this Indiana game, which again they're not going to roll over for you. You're going to be in a football game, and then Minnesota and Purdue. And then you got the bye week. I think this sets up real nice for us. 5-0 now. I think looking at 8-0 going into the bye week. That at Purdue game is another little tricky one. See how they do. Yeah. I know the record's not great, but they're playing tough football.
I'll tell you what, that Rondale Moore will take it 93 for sure. You seen him?
Yeah, I did.
He's a stud. So
there's a lot of speed in these teams, man. At least it looks like it when they play Ohio State, because somebody takes it a long way.
Yeah, to be sure. It's always watch out for the fast guy. I don't know. Maybe they're going to feed him the ball.
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
So going forward, you want to talk a little Big Ten East and the future we have, since things are kind of slowly playing out week by week. We got a little clarity after pounding on Penn State. What do you think? You want to talk about Michigan just getting by the Wildcats?
Yeah, and I got some family that's Wildcat alum.
Nice.
They were pretty psyched, but I texted them when they were up 17-0, go Cats.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, they weren't even confident. They're like, we have a knack for losing these types of games, so
nice.
We're not going to celebrate just yet.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, up here in Michigan land, Michigan thinks, all right, hey, that's such a great game. It's our first biggest comeback under Harbaugh, this and that. And shows that Patterson's got poise and this team can do it, and they're not the old Michigan that loses that game, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And I say they look mediocre. I don't know why they look mediocre, because I'm ashamed to admit it, but I know damn near all the players on their team. I guess it's because they returned damn near all the players on their team. But that O-line's got a bunch of highly recruited kids. I don't know why it sucks, but it kind of does.
Yeah, down 17 points to Northwestern, man, in the first half. That was looking like a shocking upset to me. I don't know what you were watching, but if Northwestern could have just put anything on the board in the second half, this would have gone to overtime.
Just sustain the drive, maybe.
Yeah. This could have gone to overtime, or they could have won it, I guess Patterson went for almost 200 yards passing. He's not impressing me much. I have to agree with some of these guys that I listen to on podcasts, like Vegas guys, and they call Harbaugh a bully, basically. He beats up on these weaker teams, like they crush teams like SMU, Western Michigan, Nebraska. But then when they face a real challenge like a Notre Dame, who is not overrated, by the way, since they made the quarterback change, that's on me. I had them as overrated a couple weeks ago. But yeah, Harbaugh comes in, beats up on these weaklings, and then when he gets punched in the mouth, they barely escape with a dub. You know.
I mean, and what's their schedule coming up? They're about to hit the meat grinder, I believe.
They're coasting for this week. They got Maryland, can lick their wounds, and then they got Wisconsin at Ann Arbor. But then they got this next 3-game stretch is where they get kicked in the nuts. Wisconsin in Ann Arbor, they go at Sparty, and then Penn State in Ann Arbor. No bye. Oh wait, they do have a bye in between Sparty and Penn State.
But they got Whiskey, Sparty, and Penn State in a row?
Right. And then 2 weeks, and then the Buckeyes. In Columbus, by the way.
I don't know how they get out with less than... They're going to have 3 losses. They could have 4.
Whoa, 4? Wow. I think...
I mean, they already got 1. So they lose 2 of those and then lose the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
If they were to lose all 3 of those, there's no way they lose all 3.
So you say they go 1-2 over that 3-week stretch? 3-game stretch?
I don't know. It kind of... You know, I don't know because I still think I don't know much about any of those teams. None of them look that good to me.
Yeah.
Penn State's probably the toughest. I'm probably being biased because we just squeaked by them. But even I'm not 100% sold on them. I think it was an environment. I think they played out of their butts, and I don't know if they're that good.
Yeah, well, they've beat up on some weaklings too. Their first test was this week, and then next week, they got a bye this week. Then they got Sparty at Sparty. So, this next month is going to be a major meat grinder for the big teams.
No, I think that Sparty game's at Penn State. It's at Penn State again.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's correct.
That'll be. I mean, over the next few weeks, we will find out. Ohio State kind of gets the coast. Can't let your guard down against any of these Big Ten teams. Yeah. But we'll know going into that final stretch of the season where we stand. And, if they all beat up on each other, we could damn near have it locked up. Well, how do they do it? I mean, Michigan's loss doesn't count in Big Ten play.
Right. So it doesn't affect their standing in the Big Ten unless it has to be used for a tiebreaker. So like right now, they're tied with us for first in the East because we're the only 2 teams with 2 wins. They're 2-0 in conference. Looking at the future, you got Sparty here. These guys got Penn State in 2 weeks. Northwestern this week is not going to be a pushover for them, even though it's at home.
I don't know. Akron beat Northwestern, dude. I don't care if they gave Michigan all they can handle. That's what makes the Michigan win so average to me. If it was the Northwestern team that I thought they were going to be, then I would say, hey, that's a good win, Michigan. That's why it's a garbage win. Akron, come on. We both went to MAC schools. Akron's garbage. Yep. They're the worst team in the MAC usually. They suck.
Fear the root.
And they beat Northwestern, so I think Sparty handles these guys. I don't know what the point spread on that game is. That Spartan Stadium, even though Sparty just squeaked by, but looked less than impressive against Central Michigan, who's a bottom feeder, I think, in the MAC as well.
10.5 spread. Yeah, Sparty's got a meat grinder of their own. I say this might be even more difficult than Penn State. They got so Northwestern this week, then they go at Penn State next week, no bye. Then they come back home to Michigan.
Yeah, they had their bye like after the second game. That was kind of suck. It was
Yeah.
at the first or second game. They had the
That's
bye.
stupid. It was, yeah.
That's, you know, with the way Sparty's looked, I could see them losing all those games. I
Yeah.
mean,
Then us 3 weeks later.
I think they win this week, but at Penn State, they're pretty beat up right now. I've gotten some texts from buddies or links to articles that, you know, they've got some old linemen that are hurt. They got their what they consider one of their better receivers.
Yeah,
Broke his
White.
hand, is out.
Cody
Yeah.
White. Yeah,
He's out
I've seen
for a
that.
while. That's their kid they really like at corner. He's been out. I think he's getting close to practicing again. I forget his name, but yeah. And again, I think the whole point of it is that's where the recruiting, you know, the drop off in recruiting when you don't have guys that can just step in and replace them, which Ohio State's usually blessed with. It's going to be tough for them, you know, and if they suffer just a couple more injuries, they're in deep trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, what's up with LJ Scott? Is he coming back anytime soon? It looks like he's not even their leading rusher right now.
No, I don't even think. I think he dressed and like warmed up, but I don't think he got any carries this last game. And you know, a couple guys in the poker league, they seem to think they're not in love with LJ Scott, and they like this new kid.
Yeah, he didn't play against Indiana or Central Michigan 2 weeks in a row. He sat.
And I thought he looked, even at the beginning of the year, like the very first game, it's like, doesn't look like he's running hard. Or maybe it was an ASU game, second game.
Yeah. That looks like that Connor Hayward is the feature back now.
Oh, I think they like the other dude. Hayward was getting the carries early, but this last
Jefferson.
game, yeah, that's the one everyone's kind of high on.
Ladarius Jefferson, yeah. Yeah, he's gotten a little increase in carries, but he hasn't really done much with them. Did have one touchdown, but only 50 yards against Central. So yeah, Sparty's in a meat grinder. Penn State, not really much of a meat grinder, I would say. I think Sparty coming to your house is a win. I think going to Michigan is a pretty even matchup. That's going
to be a tough football game.
Yeah, that's going to be like a 3-point spread.
Yeah.
If that. Michigan's not going to be able to run up the score on Penn State, I don't think. And then Wisconsin, that'll be a tough, you know, slobber knocker kind of game. McSorley's going to have to be able to escape and make his legs get some yards there. I don't think they have the ability to just run downhill against anybody, especially a Wisconsin team. They did it against some chumps.
Let me ask you this about the conference. Say, so Michigan has lost to Notre Dame. Say they lose to Sparty, and they were to beat us somehow. I know I shouldn't put that in my mouth.
Yeah.
Well, they've got 2 losses. Well, we've each got 1 loss in the Big Ten. Who would go to the championship game? They beat us in the head-to-head.
They would.
Even with 2 losses?
Yes, if the one's non-conference. Yeah. That's my concern when we start talking about
that story, kids, is don't lose to Michigan.
Exactly. Yep. And that's my concern is when we start talking about the nationwide picture and going to the playoffs is, you know, which conference is going to get 2 teams, because nobody's coming out of the Pac-12. That's a foregone conclusion in my opinion. And Clemson is the only team that could possibly come from the ACC, assuming they don't take a loss. Even if they win
right now, I mean, speaking of schedules, I looked at it earlier today. Notre Dame is looking like they're going to get in this year. You look at that schedule, and it is cupcake until the last game, USC, which might be a cupcake game too by that.
Oh, yeah. It could be. I agree 100%. They made it through their gauntlet, which was just a gauntlet of Michigan and Stanford. Stanford has no business being ranked 7th, by the way. But yeah, they've got Vatek. I don't know about that. Anyway, then Pitt, Navy, Northwestern, Florida State, Syracuse, and USC. Syracuse is tough. I'm not saying they're going to beat Syracuse, but Syracuse almost beat Clemson. So, and they beat Clemson last year. Florida State, I've written them off a long time ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, in normal years that would look like, hey, that's tough for Florida State.
Yeah, when they put the schedule together a couple of years ago, this probably was one of the tougher schedules in the country.
Yeah.
But then reality set in. So, yeah, life comes at you fast, Florida State. And Southern Cal's not even ranked. You know, they've got nobody ranked except for Vatek, who's, clinging to the 24 hole.
Right.
But we'll see how this new quarterback steps up for Notre Dame. I'm curious, see how he hangs. Somebody's going to give him some trouble. And if he goes down, heaven forbid, literally, Jesus freaks, they could be in a world of hurt, because that Wimbush is the whole reason I said that they were way overrated, because he was terrible.
Yeah, he's a poor man's JT Barrett. He can run all right and stuff, but he throws even worse than Barrett.
Yeah, and when he does run, he's not getting Barrett kind of big plays and chunk yards, and he's not getting those 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s. But yeah, we'll see how the Irish play out. I could easily see them getting into playoffs, although they will get stomped in the first round no matter who they play. So it's like, why? If you're on the committee, you have to look at each other and say, why the fuck are we putting these guys in here other than for TV ratings?
Well, they're going to be undefeated probably.
Yeah, but they're going to get smashed. They're like 5 notches below Ohio State, Bama, Clemson. And even they're a few notches below Georgia.
See, I don't think Clemson's that good right now. I got Ohio State and Bama on this level, that, and then maybe Georgia, but Clemson to me, I haven't been impressed.
No, they're not beating the brakes off of anybody, but especially if they lose that Trevor Lawrence for any period of time, that backup quarterback is not answering the bell, and with them losing Kelly Bryant,
they got a cupcake schedule. They can go through and still make it, but
sure,
and then I guess the D line can take over any game, as we've witnessed
right,
against Urban Meyer and with Urban Meyer.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Let's see what they got. They got Wake Forest this week, not even ranked. Then they got NC State, barely ranked. That's probably their best game. Florida State, definitely not going to put up a fight. Louisville, no, they're going in the tank. BC, they'll punch in the mouth for a minute. And then Duke and South Carolina. South Carolina, they're probably going to get their coach fired by the end of the year.
I think you're going to see my early playoff predictions. It's going to be Bama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. And if not Bama, then Georgia.
I think 2 SEC teams are getting in.
No way, not this year.
Even if Georgia gets beat by Bama in the championship game, I think they both go. Unless Georgia has 2 losses at that point.
I don't think so, based on the fact that I think Notre Dame's going. You're not going to leave out 3 conferences.
Notre Dame has to be undefeated and in convincing fashion. They can't have any close.
Not even in
nail-biters.
convincing.
Okay.
Not even in convincing. If Notre
Just-
Dame's undefeated, they're in.
All right.
100%. If they lose, all bets are off. But
Yep.
undefeated, they're automatic bid.
I think you're right. I think the national perception is, at times they start feeling bad for Notre Dame when they're not in the playoffs or not in the playoff picture at the end of the year. For whatever reason, I don't know why. But yeah, I agree with you as far as
So
Notre Dame goes.
if you have that, if you got Notre Dame in there, now you got 3 spots left. You're telling me you think Bama and Georgia both go. Okay, there's 2 of the slots. Now, out of the ACC, Big 10, Big 12, and Pac, only one of those champions gets in. No way. It won't happen this year just because of that. If Notre Dame's not in, maybe they could get 2. But with them, if Notre Dame gets in, there's no way anybody gets 2.
All right. Let me look at where's the Bama schedule here. Bama has. Come on, you cocksucker. Okay. Bama has. Jesus. LSU and Auburn left.
Ooh, LSU, that's my boys.
That's in Death Valley with the legend, the man, the myth legend, Joey Burrow. Get him in there. Get some of that gumbo, boy. Get in there. Get that in your belly. Yeah, with Joey Burrow. Go do it, Burrow. Keep my job 1 more year.
I'm down on some of that Cajun Burrow, man.
Yeah. He was on, they had an interview with him on 97.1 in Columbus the other day. It was awesome. They were talking about how Buckeye fans are showing so much love and his former teammates and shit. It's pretty good.
If
So,
two
yeah.
if 2 SEC teams get in, I want it to be LSU and Bama. And I want LSU to have beaten Bama. And then Bama gets in like they do because, well, we only had 1 loss. And then they sneak in. And then
Right.
Haskins and Burrow both get to beat Alabama in the same year. That to me justice. And then Joey B and Haskins head-to-head in the national championship.
Wow. That's quite the tale.
You heard it here first. That's how it's going down.
If that plays out that way, dude, my mind will be blown.
I don't know. Again, I don't think that 2 SEC teams are getting in, but I'd still love it without beating Bama in the playoffs to have LSU and Ohio State play each other in the playoffs.
What's that? Sorry.
No, anyway, even if they don't play, if LSU can take Bama out before the playoffs and then Joey Burrow against Haskins for a national championship or a playoff game, that'd be some good shit. That's good
Yeah.
TV shit right there.
Yeah. Georgia's got a decent schedule coming up. They got LSU, Florida, Auburn. These guys have tough schedules, honestly. Except Bama. I won't
I
give
know.
them
How
that
does
credit.
Bama? I feel like Bama always has an easy schedule.
They ice skate through this fucking conference somehow. But, oh man, that's got to be a night game in Death Valley.
Isn't
then you
Kentucky the sleeper pick down there in the SEC?
Oh yeah, they're like 13. Somehow Florida's still ranked 22. But yeah, I want to see Bama LSU at night. Oh, you need that same whiteout atmosphere down south.
Yeah.
That's the only way LSU needs everything on their side. Iron Bowl, last game of the year, Auburn's going to lay down for that.
Of course.
Because Bama's got to practice the week before against Citadel.
Of course, Auburn probably plays Louisiana Lafayette. The whole SEC
yeah.
does it that week.
Right.
Georgia Southern.
Georgia's got UMass.
Citadel.
I would put Georgia's schedule against anybody else in the SEC right now, except maybe LSU. But they played South Carolina when they were ranked. Then they got LSU at LSU in 2 weeks. They got Florida, who's ranked, the week after that. UK, who's ranked, the week after that. Then Auburn, the week after that. That's a tough fucking schedule, man.
That's some tough football.
I think, now looking at their schedule, there's no way they escape with less than one loss. Probably two. But they'll still probably make it to the championship game and get smashed.
No, that's where they'll beat an undefeated Alabama. And Georgia will go, and then Alabama gets to go. And then Bama plays them again and smashes them.
A lot to sort out. We'll see what the future holds, especially in the Big Ten East. That's really all we can control is our destiny. That's one good thing about winning last week is we don't have to wait for others to fall or hope that they fall.
Just got to handle that business.
Yep. Keep winning. I don't want to jinx us right now, but I'm going to. I don't see how we don't go undefeated after beating Penn State. There's not a tougher game on our schedule right now.
Right now, there's not, but
I know weird shit happens. Anything can happen when you go to Michigan State. I know we have a good history there, but
Antonio's got a good history against, or as good as anybody. He plays the shit.
Right.
The year they were 3-9, they almost beat us. They went for 2 and didn't get it.
Exactly. Say it rains and it turns into just a sloppy game. Where it's a close ball game and neither team pulls ahead and it comes down to a last-minute field goal. That could go either way.
Michigan's not going to be worse when we play them.
No, that's true. Yeah, barring injury, they should be just as good.
I'm going to see how we perform the next couple games in which should be easy games. And if they are easy, I'll probably jump on that boat with you. But right now, I'm still sticking to my prediction that we lose one game this season.
Okay. And you're calling for Michigan to lose 4?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
At least 3. Minimum of 3. Minimum of 3, probably 4, potentially 5.
And is Les Miles heating up that Harbaugh seat?
No. They don't care. They love Harbaugh. He runs the cleanest program. Michigan's the best school and the best team. And everyone's just so proud of who they are. as Chris Webber, runs out on homecoming.
Chris Webber. Jesus. Oh, God. Pulling out all the stops, aren't they?
Yeah.
Why don't they just bring back Tom Brady and Derek
The
Jeter?
holier than now Michigan fan. You gotta love it.
Yeah, that's good shit. Yeah, you got to parade Jeter and Brady out there, and maybe even MJ if you can get him to come back.
Yeah.
Sweet. Because MJ has always been a big Michigan fan, going to North Carolina and all.
Well, he's the first one. Well, you got to get LeBron now, or no, they are the jump man. So they're still the Jordan stuff.
Right.
What else?
Anything else we need to cover? You have any recipes you want to share?
Nah.
Good. All right.
Bourbon, ice.
Oh, I like
Serve.
that. Anyway, folks, thank you for joining us. We appreciate all of our fans. As always, hey, if you feel motivated enough, please rate and review, especially if you like the show. Tell us how much you love Shawn. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow us on all social media platforms. Don't forget about the YouTube page. People are slipping. And keep an eye out for our microscopes and our final score predictions. You can always take those to the bank, the blood bank. We will talk to you next week. We'll hit you with some extra points. Glad everybody's enjoying those. Those are hitting some record numbers lately. Shawn, thank you for your time and your intelligentsia.
Where?
And
Thanks a lot, man.
All right. Thanks, folks. Good night and go Bucks.